For this assignment, I chose to research Morningstar Farm here on Orcas Island. In case you aren't familiar with Orcas, we are part of the San Juan Islands in the Salish Sea of the Pacific Northwest. We are a small community of year-round residents with many private farms. However, I couldn't find information about community gardens on the island, so I chose to focus on Morningstar Farm, which is a privately owned farm here on Orcas, because of their focus on giving back to the community and also their sustainable organic farming practices. Morningstar Farm was started in 1988 by the Diepenbrock family. They are able to trace the history of the land all the way back to the homesteaders that developed the land 120 years ago. In fact, today they can harvest apples from a tree known to have been planted by these homesteaders. Steve and Mimi acknowledged that the original stewards of the land they now call Morningstar Farm were the coastal Salish people of our area. Steve and Mimi are dedicated to the symbiotic whole system relationship between the microorganisms, insects, plants, and animals of the land. They believe that our impact on the land and the incredible gift it gives back to us by providing a way of life that is deeply connected to respecting and being good stewards of the planet. With that in mind, since the beginning of the farm, Steve and Mimi have been practicing organic farming methods with soil health at the forefront. Orcas was formed from glacial movement, which means that the soil is very dry and rocky. This isn't an ideal soil for farming. Our growing season is very long, which is good. However, they are also very dry, which makes water retention within our soil very important. To build soil health, they focus on compost, vermicompost, which is composting with worm castings. So harvesting worms and creating compost specifically with those worms. And then also compost teas and biochar. Biochar is a method of introducing burnt wood into the soil to help build carbon, which has been shown to be beneficial for water retention. The Diepenbrocks also practice minimal tillage and primarily use hand tools. Minimal tillage and no-till practices have been proven to help maintain water retention in soil and create resilient soil that maintains a healthy, balanced microbiome. The Diepenbrocks also practice crop rotation, cover crops, perennial and annual planting. The Diepenbrocks believe that farming is political and that the farm is also an educational space. They want to help share their knowledge with the community in hopes to inspire others to experience the connection to the land through growing food as well as flowers. They sell flowers and food at the Saturday market in town, which is our only farmers market on the island. They offer a CSA every growing season and also sell to local restaurants. They host field trips with the schools on the island. They are also active participants with our food bank. In recent years, Steve has learned about forestry practices and how their mentality can be brought to creating a healthy, balanced forest. Some challenges that farms on Orcas, including Morningstar Farm, face is the growing housing crisis that is affecting the whole nation, but definitely having a huge impact on the islands. The real estate prices are driven by high-income earners and outpacing those who work at restaurants, schools, and other necessary jobs on the island. This makes it hard to employ people who can afford to live here. The rising cost of inflation also makes it even harder to live and support a farm on the island. Prices of everyday items are even more expensive since we rely on the ferry system to get all of our packages and supplies. The ethos of Morningstar Farm is really inspiring to me. They are a staple in our community and are also family friends of ours. We, my husband and I, are developing our own small homestead farm on our own property at the moment, and I hope to learn some farming techniques directly from them in the future to help us establish a healthy, whole system oriented small farm that works symbiotically with our environment through biodiversity and sustainable organic synergistic techniques like they have been doing and learning from and practicing on their farm for over 30 years. I'd like to end with this quote from their website. "For the beauty of the earth, sing, oh sing today." This line from an old hymn often echoes through the walls of our barn as we pause to gather and share in our food and community. Perhaps this too is the simplest way to describe our philosophy. And here are my references. Thank you.